Hi everyone, welcome to HopeGivers 2023 celebration. My name is Myron Bernard. We are so glad you joined us tonight for our live talk show, How Do You Sleep at Night?
How do you even sleep at night? How do you even sleep?
So we've got an amazing program for you guys today, and we're going to start you off with a video that some of you might have seen already, but it tells the story of my friend Dakota. We're going to hear some more from Dakota in just a little bit, but let's get started by getting this backdrop on his story.
Well, Dakota Sorovchek, 27 years old, originally from Yakima, Washington. Really, it all started back when COVID had hit. I'd been working a really good job. I was married, had 2 daughters. I was in a rent-to-own house that I'd been paying off for a while. With COVID, forcing people the inability to not pay rent, the landlord on the property ended up having to sell said property, and which pushed us out. So really our only option in the time that we had was to go lease another rent-to-own, but a travel trailer. But then I ended up having to go to jail for a probation violation, where in that time, my wife decided to leave me and took the girls, took what we had saved up, and when I'd gotten out, left me pretty much nowhere to go, no way to take care of myself, and was really in the streets because of that. Describing what that would be like is very cold, very lonely. Your attitude is just really quite defeatist, and it's not necessarily suicidal, but you become encased in the muck and mire, wherein there's no way out. So if one were to die, they don't seem all too upset about it. I had just known about the Tacoma rescue mission, so as a last-ditch effort, I had showed up in order to find a consistent place to stay. Down in the men's shelter, I had been working demolition and construction jobs and I was saving up so I could get my daughter back and get a place of my own. Saved up quite a bit. I was really close to closing on a place, and just walking out by myself, at a bad time, and jumped by 3 guys that were armed and took me for everything I had because I had to carry it on me. You can't just leave valuables around. And yeah, it left me real high and dry. That's when I began to drink, and it got out of control. So my friend that was in the program, he was in a similar situation to mine and offered the opportunity to me. Well, I did know that I needed to change. If I hadn't made the change and taken that step, then I'm sure my situation would be much worse, if not over. So my experience in the New Life Recovery Program has been nothing but good graces. I've seen a lot of people from all different walks of life be able to come up, change for the better, and help not only themselves but others. So how my relationship with God has grown, actually massively. New Life Recovery Program has given me hope, is just the eye-opening of sobriety and the instilling of scriptural aspects. So a verse that I've been committed to since I've started the New Life Recovery Program has been Proverbs 24:27, which is, prepare your work outside, get everything ready for yourself in the field, and after that, build your house. So what I'm currently working on is I'm about to finish up on my EMT certification as a preliminary for the Fire Academy. Then I'd be able to kind of give back on a real frontline emergency services. I would be kind of an upstanding member of society for sure, which is a goal of mine. Well, my motivation in wanting to give back would be certainly knowing where I once was, how deplorable of a case that was, and in receiving the blessings that I've gotten, I feel that if I am in a position to also return the favors that I have gotten, then I'm almost obligated to do so, and it's what my heart calls me to do. What I love about my daughters, it's just mind-blowing. That's why, I insist on doing this for them. Provide them a way to not have to ever experience something like this. And, not for my sake of them looking down on, but something to be proud of and give them every opportunity in life that I almost took away from myself and them.
Hi everyone, welcome back. I am sitting with the star of that last video that you got to see, my friend Dakota. So Dakota, we left off in this video, you were studying for the EMT exam. Can you give us an update? How did that go? Where are you at now?
Okay, so yeah, it had ended with me passing top of my class. As far as the National Registry, I had nailed it. And since from then, gotten a job down in an agency in Lacey.
Okay.
As an EMTB, get dispatched to calls and all things ambulatory.
That's cool.
Sure.
So working as an EMT, sometimes you're working 12-hour shifts, 20-hour shifts. How do you even sleep at night?
On my left side.
On your left side.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's actually how I prefer to sleep too. Yeah, that's good. Okay. So let's talk about you've finished your EMT. You've got a job as an EMT. Can you share a little bit? In that video is really clear how important it was to just rebuild that time with your daughters and your family. Can you just share about where is that at now?
Well, yeah, so definitely the goal has always been getting back with my daughter as much as possible. And now that I've got the job, I've since landed in housing, hopefully, at the Tyler campus. I believe availability opens up middle of next month, so just a few weeks now. And then I'll be able to have her full time and just keep on working.
Yeah, so you get your daughter back full time when you get the housing established. Right. You're on the path for housing.
Yes.
So I'm just recapping some of this journey here. Mm-hmm. You went through the recovery program.
Yes.
Clean and sober. Mm-hmm. Studied, got a new job as an EMT.
Correct.
And then now you are getting housing figured out.
Yep.
So you can get your daughter back.
Definitely. Yep.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, so not fully out of the woods yet. What's one of the biggest challenges in the journey that you're in right now?
Right, so the biggest thing holding me back after, figuring pretty much all of it out was definitely transportation. As you know, Lacey's not just around the corner. So, being able to get there to and from almost every other day is just not viable by bus currently. Hate to have to show up late or miss days just as soon as I got my foot in the door. So.
Yeah. So, like a lot of people who are in this journey of recovery and finding housing, transportation is a big deal.
Definitely.
And there's still lots of roadblocks that can potentially be in the way that we can be praying for and just looking for that answer, right?
Right. And that's kind of what I've been doing currently. So
awesome. Okay. So give me just a few, let's pretend someone's out here, they're watching us tonight, and they might be in a similar spot that you were in, kind of the spot that they never envisioned, or they might be right there. What would you want to tell that person?
Well, just know where you want to go, what your end game is, and then just kind of figure out everything between here and then, and what to do next, how to achieve that. Don't sell yourself short, and believe in yourself, and have faith.
That's really cool. Dakota, one of my favorite things about your story is, as I've got to witness it from a distance, I remember I walked into the Career Development Center and you were there studying, and it's after you had been in the recovery program for some time, and I loved watching how you would be faithful to take the next step in your journey. And every time I saw you take that step, it's like the Lord met you there. And I know that there's more steps, that all of us have a journey that we're on, but I'm confident that the Lord's going to meet you in this next step. So it's really an honor to just have you on our show tonight. And
my pleasure.
I love your video, and I love just getting to see your story and see how the Lord's authoring that. So
definitely.
We would love it if you guys would be praying for Dakota. He does have need for transportation. If that's something that you want to be a part of, let us know. But be praying for Dakota and others like Dakota, who are in our New Life program, who are in that journey of recovery as well. So we've got a wonderful program for you tonight here on How Do You Even Sleep at Night? So stay tuned with us. Later, you're going to hear from our executive director, Duke Paulson. You're also going to get a chance to hear from one of my heroes, Super Mario. But before that, I'm going to turn it over to Haley, who is live at our downtown campus. Haley, over to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Myron. We are here at the downtown campus, surrounded by the beds that men sleep on when they're staying with us. And we just want to show you some of these beds. So right here, this is some hard metal. And if you Google beds, this is the kind of beds you're going to see, right, at emergency shelters nationally. We got these ladders that for me would be hard to climb up. I haven't climbed up one into a bed since I was like 6 years old. It's a little shaky. You don't have the security with a rail right here. And so the burning question is, how do you sleep at night for the guys that are sleeping on here? Jakari, what do you have to say?
I don't think they're sleeping very comfortably. I mean, getting on the top of this bunk and it's just shaking. It's an earthquake. I mean, it can lead to agitation, not really having too much sleep. It's hard to get your tasks done the next day, knowing your neighbor's been shaking the bed all night, moving, tossing and turning. I'm pretty sure it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable.
Right.
And the support, we definitely need it.
Yeah, and we can do better. Like the whole point is we can do better than this. And while we've been doing the best we can with what we have, we can do better. And we're about to show you how we have done better. So now we're in our women's shelter. And if you take a look at these beds, you can already see the difference. Thinking about those bunk beds compared to these, we have stairs. We have 4 separate bed units. And it's just better. And you don't have to take my word for it. Jakari actually at one point stayed in one of these beds, and they're gonna show you around MTV Cribs style what their experience was like in the bed. So Jakari, how did you sleep at night?
MTV, welcome to my crib, man. I'm gonna show y'all exactly how I slept. Come on. Right here, we have a nice luxury bed. It's real thick. As you can see the thickness in it, it's real soft. The security and the privacy of this is amazing. I mean, I do have a neighbor, but privacy is important. This is my favorite part right here, y'all. Hey, come check this out real quick. You see this? They got charging stations. What homeless shelter you know got charging stations? I mean, high voltage. You have an area right here where you can sit all your sanitary things, cologne, lotion, soap, deodorant. And you have your own space where you can just keep all your stuff at, your own private things. We do have a locker there where you could store things. It's real hollow, but it's secure and it's safe. All right, y'all. I'm about to take a nap.
Well, while Jakari's getting the rest that they deserve for working so hard, I want to tell you that these are the kind of bed systems that we want in our whole shelter. Like, this is what we want to move toward. This is doing better. This is what it looks like to be restoring dignity. This is what it looks like to start building community and trusting relationships with our neighbors who happen to be experiencing homelessness right now. And thank you for joining us. So back to you, Myron.
Thank you for that, Haley and Jakari. So cool to see that. You know, the beds are really fantastic. The way it provides additional dignity is something we're really proud of and something that we need more of. And that's our heart at the Tacoma Rescue Mission, is to find unique ways to show people that they are seen, that they matter, that they're loved, and that they are dignified. So someone who does that so well is joining me here, my friend Mario Perez. Mario leads Search and Rescue here at the Tacoma Rescue Mission. Search and Rescue, we have teams that go out literally every night, 365 nights a year from 6 to 10, giving out emergency services and inviting people to take, to utilize the resources that the Tacoma Rescue Mission offers. So Mario, can you just real briefly tell us, what do you guys do with Search and Rescue?
Yeah, like you said, we go out every night, 365. We bring food, water, basic sustenance, blankets, and we give them resources. We offer resources. But more important than I feel like is more important is we build relationships with everybody. We try to establish those relationships so that we can end up if they have something to fall back on, we'll bring them in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's been one of my favorite things is when I've gone on search and rescue with you is I'll be, filling up hot cocoa or making a sandwich or whatever, and you will be locked in having a conversation with someone. Why do you do that?
Mainly to build relationships and connections in the hopes of they know they have a resource if they don't want to accept it that night, later on down the road, something happens, we're the ones that they think of, and they can always reach out to us, and we'll always go and either bring them into the mission or whatever that looks like for them.
That's good. Yeah. So I've got a chance to go out with you before, and I remember my daughter and I went out and volunteered, and when we came home, she's amped up and needs to process everything. Like she just needs to talk through it, and this is what she saw, this is what she noticed, and I always, literally, I've never gone on search and rescue and come back and not felt like that was just the most unique, life-changing experience. Every time. So I guess you do this this is your job. You go out 5 nights a week doing this. How do you even sleep at night when you come home?
Well, it's really tough. First, I had to take my contacts out because I can't sleep with them in. And then I had to get comfortable. I have a wool blanket.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, though, sometimes it's just depending on how it was, how the night went. I mean, Big John, one of our volunteers, he always says every night's a good night.
Yeah.
I mean, in a sense it is, but sometimes there are more rough nights than others, and sometimes it does take a few days to process. But I mean, for the most part, I still sleep.
Yeah. So one of my favorite things is there's a lot of stories that you can't share, but there's some stories that you can share. What's one of your favorite stories from doing search and rescue?
There's a couple that come to mind. The first one was the pandemic hit, and all of my volunteer base canceled, and rightfully so, I wouldn't want to risk it. And then over the course of a few months, we've developed what I call the COVID crew.
Yeah.
And these are volunteers who didn't care, and they understood the risk, and they took it.
Yeah.
And we served Pierce County, and we were I don't know if this is 100% accurate.
Yeah.
But I truly believe we were the only outreach teams out in the streets for at least 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I can say that about Pierce County. I don't know about King County.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know for me, your home kind of goes into this lockdown mode. Literally they called it lockdown. Mm-hmm. And so the fact that you guys were faithful to taking care of the community is something that's really beautiful.
Yeah. There was some other little tidbits there was this lady, she was just in complete distress, and we hooked her up, and she was just crying, and she was like, do you guys give hugs? I could really use a hug. Do you guys not do that? I'm like, come here.
Yeah.
Just come here.
Yeah.
She cried, and I was like, damn, it hurt. It hurt.
Yeah.
And another one was, it was also, I forgot where it was, but I remember I think it was under the 509, and they were like, what's going on?
Yeah.
How come we don't see that? There's nobody out on the streets. What's going on? I'm like,
yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
You're like, no, there's a pandemic going on.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
You got to tell them about the pandemic?
Yeah, it was like a handful, and then everybody. But there's it's almost like just if they would have asked somebody else, they would have been told. But
yeah,
just that one person who didn't know, and it was just crazy to me.
Yeah, yeah. It's hard when you see all of that brokenness and you see the real people that are affected by what's happening.
Yeah.
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 Mario, I'm super just grateful for you. I said this before you came on the show. I said that I get to hang out with one of my heroes that I call Super Mario, and you literally are, and I've told you that, and I love you, and I'm really you're one of my favorite people I get to work with, and I will always remember just how much I enjoy who you are as a person, but also the way you take care of our city and our neighbors. So we actually have a video. This is a real phone call that we received after search and rescue. Someone from our community called in. They were a recipient. They met up with one of our search and rescue teams, found them on the street, and they had to call in, and they shared a voicemail. So we made a video about the voicemail, and we're happy to share that with you now.
Hey, I'm not trying to get anything, or I'm not trying to contact anybody or anything like that. But my name is Jordan, and I just I'm currently living in my car. I've been living like this for a little while now. I was sleeping, and I had woken up, and I was staying in the Albertsons parking lot. And this was literally like 10 minutes ago. And I was awake for a minute, and then a Tacoma rescue mission van pulled up next to me, and I realized there was like people standing outside and everything. And they waved at me, and I was like, what the? And then so I just waved back. I was like, hey, just being friendly. And they were like, Roy Underground, whatever. So I opened my door, and I was like, they were like, do you want some food with the rescue thing? So I was like, I mean, yeah, like, I don't really have any means of making money, so it's like, I'm pretty lucky if I can have one meal a day, of like actual food. It's not like a candy bar that I stole at the gas station, And they gave me a bag, asked me if I wanted a cup noodle, so I said, yeah, I'll take the cup noodle. I didn't even want to say yeah at first, but I was like, I'm hungry as so I was like, yeah. And they gave me the bag, and they ate the cup noodle, and that left before I could even say anything. And after they left is when I opened up the bag. They gave me like 2 sandwiches in there, and 2 bottles of water, and like some chips and stuff, and granola bars. I just wanted to say thank you guys. I just really appreciate it. So I'm crying right now. I haven't cried in years. I just wanted to say thank you so much. I appreciate it. I don't ever beg for money or anything like that, so really any food I come by is just from anybody that might like this, or like, honestly, I just have to steal food stamps, and I hate doing that because I don't want to take away from people's money who work for it, Anyways, I just wanted to say thank you guys a lot, and I really appreciate what you guys do for real, and I really hope you can share this with everybody, and like, if not the actual voicemail, let's tell them that if somebody really just thank you so much. Like, people like you really appreciate this, and now I really wish I could have got to say thank you to those people. Please keep doing what you do. You guys are great people. Sometimes I don't eat for days at a time, and I really appreciate this a lot. Alright. But I just really needed to say that and tell you guys thank you.
I remember vividly when Mario came running into my office and said, "You've got to listen to this."
Yeah.
And holds up his phone and puts on speakerphone and sets it there.
Yeah.
And we just listened to it, and within the first minute, we both just started crying.
Yeah.
And just sat and listened to that. It's just that overwhelming feeling of this is exactly why we're doing this.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
And
there's more to that call that's not even on the video.
Yeah, that's the shortened version, but it catches the heart exactly of the thankfulness, the need, the glimmer of hope that can provide to someone.
Yeah.
And exactly what we're here standing in the gap to say, yes, we care for you and want you to come in.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember the first time I watched it, definitely like, someone's chopping onions in the other room or something. And then, but literally every time I go back, I think of the gratitude that person is experiencing in that moment.
Yep.
And saying, I just have to call and say something.
Yep. It's my wife's favorite video now of anything we've ever done, that we were able to put it to that video. And
my favorite.
Put the bigger picture of what's going on together.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, this is my friend and my boss, the executive director of Tacoma Rescue Mission, Duke Paulson. So Duke, thank you for joining us at our talk show tonight. How do you even sleep at night? So yeah, but okay, so for those who don't know you, let me switch it up a little bit here. You've been involved in the Pierce County community for a long time. You've been executive director of Tacoma Rescue Mission for 5 years now?
Yep.
Tell us about that journey. How'd you get to this spot here?
Wow, my journey literally has been God systematically working through my life, and I can look back at it and see it as a young child to now. From my mom raising my brothers and I in stories of George Mueller, Nate Saint, Corey Ten Boom, just great figures of faith and their actions, Brother Andrew, and feeling that calling to say, okay, in my response to God, how do I love him? How do I serve him? Here's what people have done with faith that's just beyond my expectation of normal, but just it is normal. Like, you can do this. And so I thought I was going to have to go be a missionary in Africa or something to do that. And fast forward to going to college. I came to Tacoma to go to college, and always thought I'd go back home and then go on to do other things in other parts of the world. And Tacoma, Pierce County just caught me. And when I graduated, I got a job working with youth. And through that, I got to see a whole different side of the community than I'd ever seen. I got to see kids in need, poverty, addiction, trafficking, all this stuff that was going on. Actually, and that's not just in Tacoma, Pierce County, but I just felt it here, and I got so I could see it. And I felt one day just driving through downtown Tacoma, I was praying, and God literally opened my eyes, and suddenly I saw the effects of sin and depravity in our community that I'd never seen before. And I was stuck. This is my community. This is my home. This is my calling. And through that, I had this friend that kept saying, I think you're supposed to work with people that are homeless. I kept saying, no, that's like the dead end. I don't know how I could help there. And so I turned that down multiple times. And finally, I ended up getting offered a job by a group working with homelessness, and I took it. And that was like a light went off in my life, where it was like, no, this is actually what you've been geared to do all along. And it was to see people restored who felt hopeless. Truly, like in all those stories that I'd grown up hearing about, where there was so little light of Jesus or of faith or hope, whether that was in Eastern Europe or China or India, whatever it was. And I was seeing it right here in my own community. And getting to be a part of it right here, helping people be restored and understand that they have value and worth and are loved, and that there's healing available. It just lit me up.
That's awesome. Yeah, Duke, one of my favorite things is I love when you reference the concept of the neighbor. I know that the story of the Good Samaritan is one of your favorite stories. And, but yeah, I love just even this part of your story of like, you thought that to love your neighbor, you had to go to another continent.
Yeah.
And I love that the Lord's like, no, literally, I want you to love your neighbor.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
the person who lives in your community, I want you to love that person.
That's my favorite part of the Good Samaritan story. It's not Jesus. It's not even a Jew that's the hero of the story.
Yeah.
It's the person who comes along, who's the opposite of all that, but he sees a person in need and his heart's moved with compassion.
Yeah.
And that right there is exactly the heart of what we're doing.
Yeah.
Is we see our neighbor in need and we see Christ's love flows through us in compassion to help.
Yeah.
And to see that person's need on a deep level, to say, it's not just I'm going to give you a Band-Aid and say good luck or here's some water. It's not just even in the Bible where it says, did you feed me? Did you clothe me? This is what you did to me. Yeah, but then did you also, after you fed me and clothed me, did you help me with anything beyond that?
Yeah, right.
That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, well, and like we show this video about search and rescue, which I love, but that's just the beginning of the journey. And that's creating that relationship, opening this glimmer of hope in someone's life so we can come in and say, man, there's more.
Yeah.
There's a restored relationship with your creator. There's a restored relationship with yourself, with society, with all this journey of restoration that we get to see in Dakota and others. And yeah.
That initial I'm cared for, similar to that voice message, Dakota's experience, there's something beyond just survival.
Right.
Life is not about survival. Life has a purpose and a calling for all of us.
There's abundance.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So, Duke, you as executive director, it's been super fun to watch your heart and your journey.
Yep.
And as I've known you for a couple decades, I've seen how the Lord's shaped your heart as you've said yes to engaging with Jesus as he's found in the margins.
Yeah.
And it's cool that as you say yes to that, he meets you there and shapes your heart, and you're on this journey with Jesus, becoming more attuned to his heart and what he's about. How do you even sleep at night?
I see why you named the show this.
Yeah.
Honestly, I fall asleep at night knowing that we've done a good day's work.
Yeah.
That there's a team that's working 24 hours a day helping people. And I can stop by at 1 o'clock in the morning or 1 o'clock in the afternoon and find people that are saying, that can open a door and say, I'll help you.
Yeah.
So I fall asleep pretty easily. I'll totally tell you, I wake up early in the morning though, with the burden of, and I'll say it's a God calling to say, here's what's next.
Yeah.
Here's what the needs are. And I hear these stories and I love the success stories. And I also feel the weight of the stories that aren't successes.
Yeah.
And the people that take 2 steps forward and then fall apart. And really it comes down to our community and saying, what are we doing together to create the greatest safety net we can? Because the need is always there and keeps growing.
Yeah.
As our world struggles more and more.
Yeah. So let's give people an opportunity to respond to this here. Jesus invited you on a journey.
Yeah.
You said yes. It's changed your life. It's been costly. I've seen you pay some personal cost in this journey as well. How do you want to invite other people to respond?
You know, to those that are here tonight and listening to this, I just want to offer you a chance to engage with us, to respond and say, I can help. And that help can be through a financial gift. That can be through a gift of your time, specific talents. There's so many ways to be involved because the breadth of what we do is restoration. And it's offering hope and a path to healing for people. So I just want to invite anyone, if you're here listening, that might be similar to me hearing from that person that kept saying, I think you should work with homelessness. I said no several times. But eventually, when I said yes, there was this piece of, okay, this is what I was supposed to be doing all along. And the opportunity to really be a part of restoring people in a deep way is something I just want to invite people to join us in.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, we do want to invite you to join. If you are watching this on the live stream, The website you're on, you can give right there. If you're watching this after the live stream, you can go to trm.org/HopeGivers, and you have a chance to partner with us there as well. So as Duke said, we would love it if you would consider sharing your time, your talents, or making a financial partnership with us as well. There's several things that the Tacoma Rescue Mission is working on right now. You know, you heard Dakota's story, and like Duke said, that we love the success stories. We're also keenly aware of the individuals and families who are still in the middle of the journey, and we want you to consider partnering on their behalf. You get to hear from our friend Mario and see this amazing and beautiful video. But you know, as much as we can joke about it, there are people right now tonight, and I do have to soberly ask the question, I don't know how they can even sleep at night. I don't know the conditions that they're in, and when you're unsheltered, the trauma of that. Those are our neighbors, made in Christ's image. And our heart is that we want to do more. We want to reach them with relationship, with hope, and ultimately share the love of Christ with our neighbor. That we're called to.
I can't tell you how many times through the course of the year, I'm blessed to be able to say I can go home with my family in a house and I can go to sleep and get up in the morning and have that time. But how many times I step outside, and whether it's to let the dog out to go to the bathroom or just because I realize the wind's howling, the rain's pouring, it's cold, it's really hot, it's humid, it's smoky. All through the seasons, there's times when I go, I can't imagine being outside right now tonight. And that's a burden. That does weigh on me. But it also energizes me to say, let's keep going.
Let's keep going.
This is the calling.
So we invite you to partner with the Tacoma Rescue Mission to show Christ's love to our neighbors, to expand this idea that God wants to show dignity to people who are made in his image. And there's lots of fun ways to get involved, and you can do that at the website. We're grateful that you joined us tonight, that you took your time, and we look forward to partnering with you and hearing from you and seeing you again. So on behalf of everyone at the Tacoma Rescue Mission, I'm Myron, this is Duke. Have a wonderful night, and how do you sleep at night?
How do you even sleep at night? How do you even sleep?